And I will say that I have learned through AIPCA Gakarara in Kandara church leadership that His Excellency the President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the President of the Republic of Kenya, will be joining the Christians in Kandara at Gakarara during the Holy Oil celebrations. That is on 14th of April 2022. The last time His Excellency the President visited Kandara was on 29th of December 2019 during the burial of Honorable Charles Rubia here at Gitura, Keno. This current visit, expected to take place on Thursday, is a day when the Holy Oil celebration, which is a very significant ceremony for the Christians all over, worldwide. The Christian family of Kandara and the entire Kandara fraternity, residents of Kandara. I want to therefore welcome the President, but avoid politicizing this event or this visit. I take this early opportunity to welcome His Excellency the President to Kandara. We shall be on standby. I will be on standby to receive him as he joins the Christians in Kandara. I have a few requests that I would like to present to the President or to remind him as he comes for this visit. One of those requests is that sometimes in 2015, I presented the President a request in writing and the building plans for Bildad Kagia Level 4 Hospital. Before I made this presentation in writing, we had a conversation, one-on-one conversation with His Excellency the President, and he agreed to fund the construction of the hospital. The hospital budget, the construction budget, is about 500 million shillings, which will include a male and female ward, both surgical and medical wards. There is also a proposed pediatric and maternity wards. This written proposal was presented to His Excellency the President at State House, Nairobi. And I remember him receiving the letter and handing it over to his personal assistant and instructed him to ensure that he takes action or make the necessary directions. Thereafter, I took the opportunity to remind His Excellency the President of the same project when we went to Sagana 1. Indeed, after Sagana 1, when I presented my own written presentation to the President, he was very apologetic that we had not managed as a government to allocate funding for the construction of the hospital. In that proposal, which we presented in Sagana 1, I had included Kahaine, Kavuruge, Kiranga, Jeraine, then Gatito, through Jerainya, and back to Kavuruge, through Mugesha, then to Naro, and to Kivereke. That road, Tarmac Road, was one of our priorities for this particular term of His Excellency's presidency. Then in 2017, the Minister for Roads Infrastructure, CS James Macharia, also with his entire office team, ministry team, during the campaigns and when we were seeking for votes for the Ruto second term, he appeared at Gudoro, near Gatumbo, at Gatumbo Shopping Center. We held a big meeting there with residents, and the CS Minister for Roads Infrastructure undertook to ensure that as soon as elections were over, we shall have Gudoro, Gatito, Kamae, Karemamwaro, Gituya, Mukoe, Gituya, all the way to Nyoka Nyoka. and also take a Y section through Karemamwaro, through Kiawamboto, then joining Gatito Shopping Center. About 25 kilometers. The CS minister himself undertook in the presence of the Ambassador Karau. And therefore, I would want to just remind His Excellency the President of commitments by his government, commitments which were made, some directly to the people. And even when we came for voter registration, he also added his own personal commitment by saying he will ensure that this constituency, among other constituencies in Murang'A, will enjoy sufficient, adequate domestic water. To date, the bulk water in Kandara is not sufficient, is inefficient. The water resource, amount of water that we have is not sufficient for the community, for the number of people now we have in this constituency. And we have taken this up with PS Wairago when he was PS Water, later on now when he's running for governor. And that was taken up early in the government, the year or the term of the government, that is 2018, and requested that we enhance Kandara bulk water. That I must surely remind the president that we are waiting for his government to deal with that. I'm therefore asking the president to note that his office also, that is Kibicho, assisted by his deputy Osea, recently 2 weeks ago, because of this visit, they caused the unlawful arrest of the General Secretary for the Supreme Board or organ of the AIPCA, the combined AIPCA church, where I want to thank the president because he has put in a lot of effort to bring the church together. But the church cannot be brought together through intimidation, through arrests, illegal and lawful arrests of church leadership. There has been a lot of intimidation to the church leadership, and they have been specifically told that they must stop supporting William Samoei Ruto because some of the members of that church have severally invited the deputy president, who has been available always to support their projects. And therefore, I want to ask the president to be aware that the church membership is uncomfortable and is unhappy, and while they welcome his visit, they would want it to be a free visit without intimidation, without harassment of church membership leadership in the entire church leadership, because the top leadership, some of them are being used by the office of the president, that is the Kibicho and Osea, to cause fear and intimidation. Indeed, Bernard was detained for 2 days. The GS for the Supreme Organ was detained for 2 days. He was taken to court thereafter, after 2 days, with trumped-up charges, and his vehicle to date has been confiscated, has not been released. While it is not the duty of the president to get involved, he must know that there are bad intentions and practices that his officers directly working in his office are working round the clock to intimidate, to cause fear, because they have been unable to persuade, to use the language of friendship and persuasion, possibly to accept some of the directions that the president would want to see people taking. That the democratic space and governance in this country is something very dear to him as part of his legacy, and is also dear to the country. This country has gone through a very repressive regime before the multi-party democracy settled, before the 2010 constitution. There are, however, some of the public servants and civil servants, especially within our government, within the Interior Ministry, that believe that people must be forced, people must be directed, people must be ordered, orders from above must be taken and listened to, that people must follow a certain political direction. That to His Excellency the President is not going to work. The people of Mount Kenya region have severally shown disregard of those kind of directions, and would want to ask His Excellency the President to take a low key in the ongoing campaigns so that he can protect his legacy, to actually understand that these people of this region have a very close relationship right now with William Samoei Ruto. Indeed, William Samoei Ruto was expected to be part of the gathering for the Holy Oil celebration. We are still possibly expecting him. He indicated that he is likely to come, but if His Excellency the President is a visitor, then you understand, by way of protocol, then we may have to start down the visit of William Samoei Ruto.